Afternoon, everybody. This is Chrissy from SolsticeATR and Vulcan Capital Research. Well, we got week and a half, 2 weeks next week on earning reports. See what the market can give us an option expiration for the month. So first of all, let's start by taking a look at the combination of the SPX, the NASDAQ, the Russell, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This week we had a snooze fest. Basically what I call it is a side market for the last 5 days. Friday was a little bit weak. We came to a specific level and bounced back on it. So far we haven't filled that gap on the daily candle. I put that little box there. What I will do, I'll go from the weekly to the daily to show you guys what I'm looking at. Let's just zoom in from this area. We're still in an up channel. We are bullish, as we can see. We have not filled that box. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This was the Friday gap up. We never have filled it, and we're still in this range. If we lose this this Monday's low, look for the gap fill inside to the downside. If not, because we're inside range, either look above and continue, look below and continue, or look above and fail back in, you go back to the lower range, look below, don't continue, and come back, fill the range to the upside. These are the three scenarios we have on the combination of those instruments. What I'd like to do is go first of all with the small cap, RTY, or you can use the IWM. The small cap had every week in the last couple of weeks, you notice the higher high, higher low, higher high. So if you're looking at it on a weekly basis, you can see it. This is the high, this is the lower one, this is another one, this is another one. Every time we looked up, we couldn't continue higher, but we have a flat bottom. So is this a symmetrical triangle eventually gonna break up? And I had this little oval, you can see it marked here. Do we continue since we're gonna clear the 50% fib, 61A, and look to the upside range of the 1600, 1597, 1605, 1620. If we can get up there and clear this channel here at the 1580, 1585, it's continuation. If we fall back through, look for the backside of this channel down here. I know I have drawn it on the weekly basis. We tested these two almost identical and looked back up. So on the daily chart, let's go in and look at it a little bit more in detail. Almost there. We're just waiting for it to come in. Okay, let's just zoom in this area. If you notice, these are almost identical, these lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this is going to continue, remember I had this first channel we broke up, looked, we reached the 61.8 on the daily. If we're going to continue, we have to clear this congestion area where we fell from in order to continue back up to the upside of this channel and eventually fill the gap. If not, look back to the downside, because what did the small cap do? This is Monday, Tuesday, inside day of the Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday came down all the way almost to miss that bottom and rallied back up. So it's an inside day. If we're going to continue, look for the upside. If not, look for the backside of this channel down here. So let's look at the NQ / NQ. This is the NASDAQ. Let's just zoom in. If you notice, the NASDAQ is in an up channel. We looked a little bit below. You remember those two channels are, but we got this symmetrical triangle here, and this one, that's the green. This is still up here, which is no longer valid. I'm going to just move it out, but I'll keep it there. I want to move this one, which we already tested. It's no longer valid. Remove drawing. The only one that's left is basically this one right here, which is this faster channel. We got this one that's already retested and broke out, which we took off. Remove drawing. So if we look at it, we've got a higher high, higher low. We had lower high, higher low, and this is a higher from the prior. We retested, but the NASDAQ had a little bit volatility, and I think the NASDAQ got a little bit punished because of the Netflix earning report, it looked up, it gapped up and came back down. We'll talk about Netflix a little bit in detail. We're still in an up channel. We can take, draw a channel from this candle because on the daily it's not going to show us. So what we're going to do, just put one there, and I'm going to change the color on it, edit property. We'll keep it as a little tiny small yellow one. That way, in case it comes back in, we look for the downside on the move. If not, we'll keep it to the upside, and that's what we mark it with. And we got this one up here, still in an uptrend. Let's see if it continues, if we hold the 38 or the 50 to come back in to retest it and go up or continue and break out. So that's the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the YM. YM is in a similar situation. This was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look to see if we can clear those two tops in order to continue. We're almost, coming up. On Friday, it had a weakness. It came back to the breakout of the first channel. This is no longer valid, so we remove this one. We'll keep the upper one, but we need to fix it. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to fix it at this point. Remove drawing. I'm going to keep that one alone, so I'm not going to fix this one. Just leave it alone. And I still would look at the bottom as the support of the channel, the 50 SMA and that. If this is going to continue, if this creates like a shoulder, the head, this is the other shoulder, we continue higher, we can fill the gap back up and the prior highs. This is the Dow, unless, we fail and we end up losing this channel. Let's take a look at some of the equities. Before I do that, I'm going to look at GC and oil and natural gas. GC, remember, I'm always, was looking since that time to come back and fill this gap. Look, we've had this move back down, never got there, went back up, came back under the 1508, still bearish for me. That's my line. Unless it clears and something comes out news and you break out of this symmetrical triangle, you can see the range, these lower highs, higher lows. And what we can do another one from here to this one here, or all the way up to here. You see it? This is kind of like very close enough. What I'll do, I'm going to correct it. Let's just do it from this one to this one. Come on. There we go. That's a nice symmetrical triangle. If we break above it, we'll look for the breakout. If it breaks below here, look for the downside. If it doesn't, we'll look for the upside. In this oval, we'll move it to the other side. We'll remove it, put an oval. Trying to do it as fast as I can. There's reasons behind it because I want to cover a couple of equities, and I'm trying, to cover a lot of ground because next week we got earning reports once again. Remember the China tariff, we still got the Brexit exit, the negotiation, you got the oil sector, consumer confidence, China, Hong Kong, as well as in the Middle East. So I'm not going to go into detail. Remember, watch the news just in case for a glitch or noise that happens in the market, and that gives us a little bit an edge, on some stuff. But I don't usually watch the news. I'm not a person that does. I just watch the charts. But if somebody's interested, that's up to them. Let's take a look at CL, and I'll go to the ES. Oil, if you notice, if we can clear this 54 75, 54, 85 and clear the 38.2 fib back to the upside, I still like oil to the upside, but we tried to break in. This was the last week's channel. You see, I put it in there, and unfortunately we broke above it, removed drawing, and the computer grabbed that down channel. So what I would look to see if we can clear that candle that took us down. If we can get this area to be cleared and clear here, we'll look for the upside of the 50, 38, 50%, 61.8. If we fail, look back to break this channel back to the support where it started from, back to the 50. So either way, keep an eye on oil. I think maybe because of natural gas, NG had a good day on Friday. I think there may be a breakout. I'll show you NG just a little bit because I don't cover everything in my trading. Where isn't it doing it? NG. There we go. This is natural gas. If you noticed, it's creating, that round second wick. If this can clear that 38.2, I think the up target, not just the 50, the 61.8, the 200 SMA in this area where it broke from. Remember, we looked up, came back, consolidated in this area, and eventually fell through. If we clear this area, look for this area to come back and fill. If it falls, beneath the 2.25, look for the other side, back to the back side of this channel, because you can draw a channel from this candle here. Oops, that's an oval. Whoops, wasn't paying attention. Do a channel. There's a channel. We grab this candle here, and we'll be in a down channel wedge. Or we can grab this candle to this area here. And you can see we're trying to break out. If we do break above and continue, that would be very nice for natural gas. This is why I mentioned it. I'm not telling you to buy it or anything. Just if you trade it, keep an eye on. Just going to fix this candle a little bit more in a better range. I think this is too wide, but I want to keep it on a wick because of the gap. It should be the candle in here, but I made it wider, that way it looks more cleaner on the symmetrical down channel, and your midpoint would be here. So let's take a look at ES. I want to do the volume profile early today on it so you guys can see it. There's two areas that when ES broke out, when we came back and retested it, we came back, retested partially. This is in the overnight action. We came back, if we fall through this area, because this is the box, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday retested the area, looked into this area, didn't look in the overnight, and went back up. If this is going to hold and we don't revisit the puck where most congestion are between these candles here and fall back to the bottom of the channel, I think this may be a breakout, because you've got higher low, 2, 3, and eventually if we break through this channel, look for the upside, which can continue all the way up to this area here. I don't want to sound bullish, but if we fall through, look for the backside. If we continue, look for the upside. Let's take a look at the volume profile of it. I'm going to go down to 180 day. This is a volume profile I'm using actually from TOS. It kind of gives you where the puck area, it's that green dashed line. The pinkish orangey burnt color is the value area low, and the pucks are the burgundy color and that dark red area. I have marked this one here. This is the overnight action. I wanted you guys to see this is the overnight action. That gray area is the overnight. The daily volume is basically the price action, you know, from the 9:30 East Coast time till the 4:15 close. This is the daily volume on it. So when we looked up, we went sideways action. If we're going to break up, look for the breakout of this candle out of this range box. And if we fall through, we fill the puck and eventually come back to the 200 SMA and fill the gap to the downside. What I'm going to do is go a little bit faster time frame to show you what I'm looking at. We're going to go 20-day, 78-minute. And this will kind of give us a little bit more better idea. And I'll zoom in to give you how, guys, I look at things. Let's just go to this area from here and work our way up. If you notice, this is in the overnight action. We looked up, came back, retested partially. This is in the overnight. You see, this is the overnight, never been retested. In this area, this is the overnight from this high, never retested, and we continued higher. And I put this candle here to measure this distance here to show you guys that there's a small little gap to fill in case we come back down. If there's going to be continuation in the volume to the upside and the market pushes on the earning report and everything looks good, we're going to go higher. If we fall through, we come back through to fill the gaps and eventually the backside of where most. This is a virgin control point. This is a pop. This is a value area high. This is a value area low, which is the orange, the reddish color. Where is it? There it is, right here. So when we're looking at it, we always look for the virgin control points, and I'm going to zoom in. That's where most price action is. This is a virgin. If we fall through this gap, this is the first support. I'm going to call this 1, 2, and eventually this is the 3 to the downside. If we break up, look to the upside, what we'll do, we'll zoom a little bit more so you can see the volume profile a little bit more in detail. I know this is a little bit scattered. This is the Tuesday move. This is the Monday move, sideways action. Tuesday push up. Wednesday overnight and Tuesday afternoon side action. This was Wednesday. Thursday push up, come back in a little bit, close positive, never filled partial gap. And on Friday we tried to look up, we couldn't, we came back. I was out of the office that morning when we fell down to this area. We only filled partially this gap, and U-turned and went back up to where most of the congestion. This is a POC, this is a POC, this is a POC, those burgundy colors. Value area highs are the green ones, value areas high are the green, value area lows are the purple. Use them to give you an idea where there's gaps, where most of the value is built in volume. These are good area to look at them that will help you out. Let's go back to the daily and go back to taking a look at a couple of equities. I'm not going to keep it too long, but I'm going to try to give you a couple. AAPL. Apple, if you can see, it went sideways. If the earning reports and everything looks good, remember, it's going to be reporting as well. If it cannot fill it and it loses the 100% retrieve the 233.47, look to fill the gap. If it breaks up and continue higher, that would be great, because this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Everybody was thinking it'll fall through. Look where it tested on Friday, 233.52. On Wednesday, 233.20. If we're going to fall through here, this will eventually fill and fill the gap and come back to the second gap, which is down here. You see this? If earning reports and stuff are really weak, what I'll do, I'll mark it with another box here. Let's put another box so you guys can see it. We'll just highlight it a little faster. There's another box right here to fill. Okay, everyone? So this is another area to fill. If it's going to continue and break above here, because it was in consolidation mode, and the report looks good because you can draw a channel from here to here to here, because this channel is no longer valid, but we'll keep it there. What I'm going to do is grab a channel and draw it to the upside so you guys are aware of it. We can grab this candle here, do this candle here, or we can grab that top one here. You can see these two are almost identical. This is the back side of the prior candles from the prior breakout. So what I'm going to do is mark it with a different color so we don't get confused when we are trading to the back side of it. And we're going to make it, let's make it purplish. So that way you know this is where the breakout was on the daily long-term chart. And we're inside an up channel. As long as we don't lose here, we're going to continue higher. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon on, remember we had a nice trade here from 1722 double bottom. I called it in the room at Discord or at SolsticeATR in our chat room to the 1780, and I said once it gets to there, time to walk away, because you looked above it, came back, retested it on Thursday. And eventually on Friday, when it fell through it, there's nothing much you can do, and it came back to the prior breakout. It retested this channel and came to close right above it. If in order for this to continue higher, it needs to hold and clear the 1772 area. If it cannot, even if this up channel, we have an up, this channel is no longer valid, let's just remove them so that way you guys can see what I'm doing every time. So we got this area here to this candle here. As long as we are in this channel, we don't fall through the 38.2 or this channel, it can come back and clear. This was a prior old channel that we had on the daily candle remove drawing, or I'll just change the color on it so that way you don't get confused if it comes back and breaks through it. Let's just make it blue like we did on the other one. So we do have this upper channel here. You see it? It's connected to this one. If we can break through this channel back up, we're in an uptrend. If we cannot, we can come back. And remember, we have this old channel from here, this high to this high, You're still in the down channel, but you're trying to break up. If you cannot clear it, watch your fingers. That's Amazon. There's no trade there, but I'm kind of giving you, let's take a look at Baba. Baba had a bad day on Friday, fell through, and it filled part of that gap here, which is really nice. You know, when it fell through, this candle was a short, continued to this one, broke through, and eventually fell through this one. Was the third one, and Tuesday's action went through it, and it fell through the Monday to fill eventually the gap. Oh, it didn't even fill it. Look at this. It has not filled it. If BABA continues to the downside and there's weakness, look, to continue all the way back to the bottom side of this oval. Let's take a look at Facebook, FB. Facebook, where it broke out, it had that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, fell back where it started from, hit the 50 SMA, came back above this channel. Facebook has to hold in this area to continue higher if it creates a head and shoulder. This is the shoulder. This is the head. It can do a shoulder. If not, it continues back down. Let's take a look at Google. Google came back in where the breakout was. Keep an eye on this backside of this channel to hold it where it broke out. If it cannot clear this top here and stays below here, it can come back down here. If it can clear it, look for the upside. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix, I think there may be a trade because on earning report, I traded into the close myself to the long side, and I was able to grab it all the way to 29.96 to get out of the position. Then we shorted it, then we grabbed it here for the long on this gap, and we went long with it, myself and David in the room. We called 3 trades in it, and we got out of the way. Then on Friday, when it fell through the 288, it was basically a short. It's filling part of the gap. It hit the backside of this channel. Everybody's not looking at it. If the 50 SMA and the 61.8 holds it, because remember, I have see that symmetrical triangle here. If it cannot break and come back to this channel and fall through here, this is the full gap. And you can do it on actually a butterfly if you want to do the option or the equity. If it U-turns and goes back into this area and clears the 38.2 back to the upside, but if it falls, it falls. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla looks like, you know, it tried to do 3-4 times this push higher, you know, trying to fill it 1, 2, this is the 3rd time. If we can clear here in Tesla, I think it can continue back to this upside of the channel. But if it falls through the 200 SMA, look for the 38.2 fib first before you do anything in Tesla. And let's take a look at Visa, Exxon. There's a couple of items. This is Visa. If you notice, Visa, it came back in from the prior high. Whoa, what just happened here? It tried to look up, see, it fell through. So keep an eye on the banking sector and like MasterCard, Visa, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Chase. You know, the banks came in a little bit. You can see it on Friday. Let's take a look at the ExxonMobil. Same thing, it couldn't get above that 70 area, coming back in. Keep an eye on that 66.50. 65 area. If you can get a nice bounce, if it falls through it, it may go lower because this is a shoulder, this is the head, this is the other shoulder. If it falls through, be careful of it. Let's just go back to ES one more time and I'll finish up what I'm thinking. Remember, this week, keep an eye on the earning report. There's a lot of earning reports coming out this week and next week. We got the option expiration. We had a range bound this week, nothing major. If we break above this channel, look to the upside. If we break down from this range bound, look for the downside. But remember, we can look down, don't fail, U-turn and go back up to fill the up range of the gap. If we look up, can't go through, come back in, look for the range to the downside. If we break up and continue, that would be great. If we break and continue lower, that would be great. So remember, trade what you see, not what you think. Money will flow, and good luck. And I'd love to see you guys at Solstice ATR or Vulcan Capital Research. You can check us out on Discord, on Twitter.